This video is going to show you how to mount your bobber front fender to your Honda 1100 Aero. This is the kit laid out. You have your front brackets, your under the fender braces, your hardware. And what I want to do first is I want to show you how to mount the fender, because one side is just a little bit longer than the other according to these holes. So take a tape measure and measure the holes and see which is the longer and which is the shorter side. We want the short side to the front. So what I'm going to put a little piece of tape on the front side to mark it, so when I put this fender on, that comes out on the front. I've assembled the fender just like this. I'm going to show you the underside here in a minute. You use the screws that have the rubber lined washers on the top here. That's what they look like. It's not the shoulder washer, it's the one with the rubber washers. So they go on top. And then if you'll notice, this is the front of the fender. I marked it with a tape. Okay, on the left front side, the bracket has a little bump in it. It's really important that you get that on this left front side, because that's the brake hose retention bracket that goes on this. So make sure you get this mounted this way. Little bump on the left. And then if you'll look at the bottom, there's the plain side without the bump. Okay, if you'll notice the bottom, I put the liners, the strap liners in first, and then the brackets go on top of that, then the washer and the nylock nut. So that's really important that you get it that way. I'll get a little closer if you can see it. There again, the strap, the bracket, the washer, and the nylock nut. Now leave these just a little bit loose for now. You can snug them up, but just leave them a little bit loose because we want to align this on the bike. Okay, when you mount the fender to the motorcycle, if you'll notice, there's two sets of mounting holes in this bracket. I've used the upper holes because it puts the fender just a little bit lower. This tire isn't super big. The tires may vary in brand names and also in the sizes a little bit, so we gave you two sets of mounting holes there so you can mount this kind of wherever you think it'll look good, and also make sure there's a little bit of clearance there on the nuts on the back here. So I'll let you decide that. And then if you'll notice, we give you a shoulder bolt. It's the screw that has a little shoulder on it. That's the screws that you mount the brackets to the forks. And then in your kit also there's one shorter a 6 millimeter screw, and it has the nylock nut on it. Okay, I'll show you what that is for. Okay, if you'll remember, there was a bump that hung down on this bracket here. Okay, that's what the bump is for, and there's an extra hole there to mount this brake hose bracket. So that goes in there, and that's what you use the shorter screw for. So put the screw and the nylock nut on the back side. I've mounted the fender by just snugging up all the screws equally, just to kind of center the fender on the tire. This whole thing moves a little bit, so as you tighten it, you can probably adjust it to fit the tire perfectly. Every time we've mounted one so far, they come out really nice. So anyway, you can also put a open-end wrench under the nuts on this on these screws here to tighten these. Make sure you use a real good quality Phillips screwdriver, and you may hold the screw and then just tighten the nut underneath a little bit. That way you don't have a chance to slip off with the screwdriver. So anyway, don't get too carried away on these screws in here, but snug them up quite well, because this is aluminum and you don't want to get ridiculous and strip those out. So there you have it. Double check all this stuff. Make sure that you don't miss something, because it's really important that you get this fender on there properly. Looks really nice.